All right, I'd like to call to order the Town of East Troy Planning Commission's decision-making meeting for the month of August. So tonight, we will not be taking any input from the audience. We were just going to have our discussion, and we're going to make our decision. So the first item on the agenda, or only item on the agenda, I guess, is a rezone at PET 3100007 William and Pamela Berkey. Has everybody gotten the additional information that the applicant got put together? Everybody emailed that. Yep. So I've got some. I'm just going to kind of go over that, and then I'll give everybody kind of the research that I did from the applicant prior precedent. There's a similar property 2 plots away that we rezoned C2 in 2022. The only thing that I'll mention on that is it was a non-conforming A1. It was 17.98 acres versus this is 57 some acres. So I'll just make that note. So yes, there is a precedent, but I want everybody just to be aware of that caveat, especially for the people that weren't here for that meeting. Both properties were in the 2035 and the 2050 comprehensive plan. That is something I discussed with Kate at the county as well. Not only the 2035 plan did we decide this maybe isn't our best spot to keep A1. It's rural residential, and they said if we all felt, including us and the town or the county at that time, if we all felt that this was prime agricultural or it should stay prime agricultural, it would have been noted as AP, not RR, which is rural residential.
So the document that the applicant provided demonstrating that it conforms to the 2050 plan is valid.
That is correct.
We verified that.
100%. It's rural residential, which is 5 acre minimum.
Yeah.
And there, again, it's not a CSM or it's not anything that's really detailed, if you will, on what they're going to use the plan for. But they're telling us, 4 7-acre lots and 2 5-acre lots. They're not proposing half-acre lots, subdivision, heavy density. The other thing I'll mention, since I'm there, the subdivision adjacent are 2-acre lots, so they're less dense than what's in the immediate area already. There's a statement from the farmer I jumped the gun because the next one after the farmer statement is the adjacent higher density. The farmer statement is just a statement from the previous farmer that farmed it and feels that it should not be farmland anymore. Again, the next thing is the adjacent is higher density of residential. And then the last thing is their intention is to make it a family homestead and maintain it to fit within the agricultural community of East Troy. A couple of pieces of research that I did. Again, I brought up the lot that we did in 2022 is 17.98 acres. Just again as a point of reference, the 2035 as well as the amended 2050 plan both call for rural residential and not prime agricultural. So powers that be, and we did have input on that plan. That plan is basically for looking to the future, and the future is calling for rural residential.
That's the collective vision for the county.
Correct.
And we corroborated that.
Correct. Per the GIS, there was obviously there's some talk about the soil. What's the right word there is? Prime agricultural soil. There's 84% of the site is prime agricultural soil. So again, I'm just bringing that up. I know they mentioned at the last meeting that since it's a 7-acre lot with just one home on it, they would probably still farm some of that land?
That adjacent property is over 90 that got rezoned. I spoke with Kate also about this. So yeah, the adjacent property that we did rezone was over 90,
90%
90%.
prime or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
We also brought up, I think, at the last meeting that do we need a CSM to do a rezone? And we do not. So again, like we said last time, is the applicant came to us and said, hey, this is our vision. We don't want to spend a bunch of money on civil engineering and surveying if it's just going to get shot down. So it is acceptable for us to approve a rezone, for example, from A1 to C2. They would still have to come back to us with I's dotted and T's crossed. This is where the road goes. This is where this property starts and ends, and so forth. So it's not like they could pull a bait and switch. Not that I'm accusing them of doing that, where they could, just come, hey, it's zone C2, and now we're going to put whatever the heck we want. That's not going to happen. Rich brought up the table 5.2 from the zoning code, which is the criteria for rezoning land from A1. And again, went through pretty much all those. And the Walworth County Farmland Preservation Plan, that also is favorable towards a rezone. So those conditions, the criteria for rezoning A1, in my opinion, as well as Kate's opinion, are met.
Can I?
Go ahead.
So I have that here, that table 5.2.
Mhm.
And again, I think these are like recommendations or guidance. It's not hard and fast, but it says less than 50% of the parcel should be covered by soils of prime. And we have more than 50%. So
Correct.
how do we rationalize that?
I'm just kind of throwing out all the facts. I'm not necessarily saying I'm for or against.
Yeah.
I just, it's some of the other things below where it's, is it not impair, future agricultural, is the land
Yeah,
suited?
I agree.
You know.
It meets the other criteria. That's the
Only
that
one
it
sticking
doesn't.
one?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I don't know that this is gospel, but it's like
Guidance. Mhm.
right?
Are you sure about the farmland preservation plan though? It looked to me like it was not consistent with the comprehensive land use plan at the county level.
So basically what Kate was saying is, it's a yes. It is in because it's a better suited, the rural residential is better suited because of the 2050 plan. So it would kind of supersede the farmland preservation, which is state and county. And it was kind of a hard read. It was a lot of tax credit type stuff for farmers and for the county and stuff like that. So I didn't really dig into it personally much myself. It was more of a, okay, Kate, I'll take your word for that. Thank you.
Joel, can I ask how many lots were divided off that one that was a couple doors down?
3.
So it went from 17 to 3 lots, so they're 6+ acre lots.
Correct.
And these folks are proposing to split 59 acres into 5 lots.
But they're not, there's no land division here. It's just a rezone. So 57,
We can stipulate how many lots.
you could get to 11 lots.
So their preliminary is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 for the family and 2 to sell off. 2 to sell off at 5 each, 1 at 23.8, and then 7.8, 7.8, 7.8.
Thank you.
But I don't think we should really consider that because that could
Agreed.
change considerably. I mean, it's really just,
They have to come
we're
back.
really looking at a rezone of the entire parcel.
I understand that. But you can stipulate that it's got to be the 6 lots, so can you?
No, I don't think so.
It's stipulated in the C2.
C2 is 5 acres minimum.
Right. So,
Right, but they could get up to 10 then, or
Yeah.
12.
Sure.
It's not what they stated.
I wonder if it might be more appropriate to, instead of C2, make it an A5, which is rural residential district. I think it fits size-wise perfectly.
What's the minimum on A5 though? Isn't it like 40,000 square feet?
40,000 square feet minimum.
that's
Yes,
1 acre.
that's
It's a small one.
that's 1 acre. So that's my concern is if we were to go to an A5, now we're basically approving
I think
50 lots.
A5 would be not consistent with the density planned for in the
Right.
comprehensive plan.
Exactly.
Right, right.
And I think it would be because it's rural residential, but I get what you're saying about it would make there a potential for a bunch of.
Right.
Density.
And C2, so kind of going back to Paul's point a little bit, they still would have to come to us with a CSM that shows 5 lots or 10 lots,
Right.
that theoretically could fit in there. And it's been documented their intention. So I think we could, at that point, deny it based on this is what we
Okay,
approved, if you
that's
will.
where it would be.
Understood.
Got it, thank you.
So,
Rich, did you have anything further on?
No.
Okay, all right.
so I think with what I'm a little hung up on is that the rezoning criteria from A1 at the county level, it reads this: the proposed rezone should be consistent with the Walworth County and Town Comprehensive Plans, the Farmland Preservation Plan. Rezone shall be considered to be consistent with these plans if the following standards are met. And then it goes into the nature of the soils and things. It's kind of like an and, but yes, it meets the comprehensive plan. I don't believe it reflects the farmland preservation plan. Those are in conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets into the soil. So, it's really hard to decipher, to apply the criteria because all these things are so inconsistent. And then when I took a look at the comprehensive plan as it holds for the balance of the town, and we have a lot of land in the town, the bulk of the town that's flagged for, essentially A1, 40-acre parcels and up is substandard farmland. It's not really good soils. This is, according to the 2020 soil survey, better farmland than a lot of what we have identified as being farmland. So it's really inconsistent there. So I think it comes
We're
down
not going to take any comments tonight, thanks.
So I think it comes down to, do we, what do we give more weight? The comprehensive land use plan, the 2050 plan, or these other factors?
Sure. And I agree. It's A1 and we want to preserve A1, but our future plan is for rural density residential. So what supersedes,
How
Well,
close
there
is
were
this
a
to the
couple of
village?
letters that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
How close is this to the village?
it's close. And
So-
it might even touch the village.
Is there
It doesn't.
potential that
No.
if,
It doesn't.
Okay.
could it eventually throughout the years be touching the village?
Possible.
So the point I'm getting to is if they don't get what they're asking for, could they annex into the village?
Not until they touch the village.
There's about 3 or 4 properties. I took a look. There's about 3 or 4 properties in between this one and the village, no matter how you slice it.
I'm just gonna say I'm in favor of them getting what they want, and what they're asking for. A lot of the points that he brought up, I talked with Kate about this. I don't have a problem with it personally. Good points being brought up, but I just for historical sake, we don't want them to annex to anywhere else. It's good tax revenue for the town. That's just the point I'm bringing up. Just have to say that.
There's already the homes on Swoboda are already part of the town. So it's not really, it's not open for grabs. It's,
Yeah.
Correct, it's not,
I-
open- it's not
I
open
just,
for
I was just
annexation.
asking.
Right.
It's worth asking.
you make a good point.
Sure.
Yeah.
And again, with the density right next to it is already 2-acre lots. I'm arguing with myself, because I agree with you on all the points on the A1 and the ag, but they're not putting forth this overreaching, 50,
Right,
lots.
what they're asking is consistent with the 2050 plan.
Right, right.
It's
So if you use.
But it's inconsistent.
It's inconsistent with the criteria that the county laid out for rezoning A1.
But if you use the 2050 plan as the guiding light, then it meets it.
Correct, correct. It meets it, and it's even a little bit less of an ask. They could go 5 acres for all the lots, and they're not. So that's
Well, I think that's based off of their preliminary. plat, right?
correct.
Can we put conditions on the rezone?
I've never put a condition on a rezone,
I don't think we. can.
but if they come back before us, they have to come back before us with a plan to divide it into these individual
Right.
lots. And if it's not per this, I think we have right to reject it.
Yeah,
So I guess
I would agree.
all of this discussion and documentation is a condition, because this is
Right.
this is what we were told and potentially could make our rezone decision based on.
An eventual land division wouldn't necessarily come to the plan commission though, right?
And the CSM would.
Oh, I suppose it would, right?
Yeah.
And then we're evaluating relative to the comprehensive plan at that point
Right.
for density, et cetera.
Correct. And it'd have to comply with C2, of course.
There were a couple of letters from the previous owner of the property and from the guy who currently farms it, saying that the yields on that are not up to what both of them considered A1 standards.
Sure.
So I think
That's good
that's,
to know.
that it may
Right.
be incorrectly zoned now.
Yeah, but that's based on soil samples. Now, I don't know if they take an airplane over and,
Mhm.
how they take soil samples of every piece of property in the county, but
It's done every 10 years or so, so I don't think they're physical soil samples.
right. So, I mean, the note from the farmer saying the yields aren't great, I would say holds something to me. I don't know that he really has a horse in the race where he'd wanna,
Didn't seem like it,
Yeah.
nor did the previous owner.
right. Right.
He thought it'd be better suited as a gravel quarry.
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh. So much for the soil, huh?
Anything else, Ben? I guess if there's no other discussion, maybe we could, if there's nothing else to discuss, maybe we take a motion. Any other discussion?
I'd make a motion that we approve the rezone for parcel number PET 3100007.
We
Second,
have a motion to approve and we have a second.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yep. The only other thing on the agenda is other business. And what I want to bring up is at Monday night's town board meeting, there was some stuff brought up about the meeting minutes. And I feel that Jennifer Olson did not get a proper opportunity to defend herself. It seemed like to me that it was a little bit more of an attack than it was, hey, this is what I would like. So I would like to give Jen an opportunity to say anything in regards to Monday night's meeting.
I just feel it was very unfairly stated in the public arena that changes needed to be made and that it was found in that way. It is now circulated on Facebook as a fact that I lied in those minutes and there were mistruths stated, and that is not a fact. There were no lies in there, and whether or not the way it was worded is how someone else would have worded it is not what's up to be discussed. It's grammar, it's spelling, it's punctuation, it's things of that nature. It's not rewording the entire minutes. Correct? Is that not historically how it's been?
Agreed, and even per Jim Mills, no one on the town board or the plan commission can write the minutes. So
And we're speaking about the minutes of which meeting?
of, I believe, June and July. Anything that has to do with the Stoss application. Okay. I just want to read, I mean, I know you're on the town board, so we have a process of the minutes. We review them and then we approve them. I just don't want it to be rehashed. You guys do what you do on the town board, but I want that to be noted in this meeting that bringing that up in public forum, I didn't think was good decorum. So.
Okay.
Any other business? Any other public comment? Then I would take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
A second.
All those in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Will you be there on Monday or just you guys? How many guys should I?
I'll be there to get them started.
You want coffee?